So I want to tell you a story about a nurse named Crystal. And get this, she failed the IELTS test 9 times. 9! She was so close to giving up on her dream. But then she discovered a secret, something that took her score from a band 6 all the way to a band 8. So what did she learn?
So this is Crystal, a registered nurse from Hong Kong. She had a good job, but she dreamed of a better life abroad. And the only thing standing in her way was getting a band 7 on the IELTS test. And man, she tried everything. I'm talking online courses, expensive tutors, endless practice, but she was just completely stuck.
For 9 straight attempts, she got the exact same result, a band 6. Now, the crazy part is, it's not like she was bad at English, not at all. The problem was that she had been taught the wrong way to take the test, and I have a feeling it's a way that many of you will find, well, very familiar.
So what was the big change? How on earth did she go from constant failure to this huge success? And in just a few weeks? Well, let's dive in and find out.
Okay, so here's the deal. Crystal fell into a really common trap. Because she's a medical professional, she just assumed that to get a high score, she had to use all this complex academic language.
She was doing what so many people do, right? She memorized these long lists of big words and these impressive-sounding phrases, trying to sound super smart. But here's the twist. That strategy was actually lowering her score.
And then she had a breakthrough. She discovered the secret. And it's so simple it's almost hard to believe. The secret was simplicity. The whole time, she thought the key was to be more complex. But nope, the real key was just to be clear.
You have to get this into your head. The IELTS is not an intelligence test. It's a communications test. That's it. All the examiners want to know is this: can you communicate your ideas clearly and naturally, using everyday English?
Okay, check this out. This is a perfect example. On the left, you see the kind of jargon-filled sentence Crystal used to write. On the right, you see a simple, clear alternative. Now, you tell me, which one is easier to understand? Yep, that's the one that scores higher. It's a real aha moment, isn't it?
So Crystal adopted this simple 3-step method for her writing. First, the teenage test. Would a smart 13-year-old understand this? If not, simplify it. Second, the active voice filter. Change those clunky, passive sentences to active ones for more clarity. And third, the one idea rule. Just stick to one clear idea per sentence. And that made her writing so much more powerful.
Now, this focus on clarity absolutely transformed her writing. But the real breakthrough came when she realized, wait a minute, this isn't just a writing trick. She applied the same exact principle of simplicity to her speaking, turning what felt like a stressful performance into a simple conversation.
And this is the key mental trick you can use too. It's called the coffee shop method. Instead of seeing a scary examiner across the table, just imagine you're chatting with a friend in a coffee shop. How would you answer then? This simple shift helps you relax, speak more naturally, and stop overthinking everything. It forces you to just communicate.
So here's how you can apply that mindset. In part 1, just answer the question directly and add a little detail. In part 2, focus on the main topic and just speak freely. Use the bullet points as a guide, not a script. And in part 3, it's a simple formula. Answer directly, explain why, and then give an example. See? It's that simple.
Okay, but to fully embrace this new approach, you have to unlearn all the bad advice that's holding you back. So let's bust some of the most dangerous myths that lead to low scores.
All right. Myth number 1, and this is the big one. It's the myth that you absolutely have to use advanced vocabulary to get a high score. This is the exact trap that caught Crystal.
But here's the reality. When you try to force words you aren't comfortable with, you hesitate, you pause unnaturally. You might mispronounce them or use them in the wrong context. This lowers your score in fluency, pronunciation, and vocabulary. It's a triple penalty. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This comes straight from the horse's mouth. This is directly from IDP, one of the co-owners of the IELTS test. They explicitly warn candidates to avoid unfamiliar words because the risk of making mistakes is just too high.
Okay, the next myth is all about idioms. So many students are told to memorize long lists of idioms, like "it's raining cats and dogs" or "over the moon," and then just force them into their answers.
Here's the thing. Examiners are not looking for memorized idioms. They're listening for idiomatic language, which just means natural-sounding English, like phrasal verbs.
Using idioms unnaturally just signals that you've memorized something.
And that leads us to the final, and maybe the most damaging myth of all, that you should memorize entire answers for common topics that you expect to come up, like questions about your hometown or your job.
Again, let's go straight to the source. The British Council, another IELTS co-owner, makes it crystal clear. Examiners are trained to spot memorized speech. It sounds robotic, it's unnatural, and it proves you can't communicate spontaneously, which is the very skill they're testing.
So by letting go of these myths and embracing simplicity, Crystal stopped thinking of herself as a test taker and started acting like a communicator. And that made all the difference in the world.
So look at her journey. 9 failures while she was trying to impress. Then a quick mindset shift to focus on clear communication. And just 6 weeks later, boom, a Band-Aid. And today she's working as a nurse in Australia, living her dream.
The secret to a higher score isn't about learning more advanced English. It's about using the English you already have to communicate clearly. Stop performing and start connecting. This shift in mindset is what separates those who stay stuck from those who succeed. It worked for Crystal, and it can absolutely work for you. The only question left is, are you ready to make that change?